All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to episode 36 of The Get Down. My name is Cream.
Gary W. here, and we are back to our regular scheduled programming. Kareem's in a different state. I'm down here hanging out. Little different background for you guys, but we have it's 85 out here right now, so we had to record outside.
Yeah, this is definitely more of what I'm used to, not all the moving parts of what we did last week. But I think it turned out pretty good.
It turned out great, but if you go back and watch it, like that first 4 or 5 minutes definitely is a little awkward. What do I do with my hands? It was different, but as the interviews progressed, it looked really good. I was a little off camera a little bit. You adjusted that, I think, the second interview.
I tried. That's the problem of not having someone that's doing all the technical stuff for you.
Right.
But it is what it is. Yeah, it came out good. If you guys haven't checked out the actual video, we have the full video on YouTube. So it's not just me and Gary on a Zoom. It's we actually had a camera set up and we shot the podcast in a static, cool way. So
it almost felt like a Get Down With It episode. I mean, it could have been, but we just didn't have the production value because we didn't have the man hours on it. You know what I mean? And the amount of people that we needed.
Right.
But it totally could have been that.
Without Brandon or without a videographer, my skills are very basic. I know how to use the camera, set up microphones, record audio, video I can set up. But after that,
yeah, but if you go on our, for those of you who are watching, if you go to our Get Down With It episodes, it has that same vibe, just without the quote unquote production value.
I agree. And if you guys haven't seen those, you should go check them out because it's some of the coolest stuff we've done. Definitely.
Yeah, hands down. But anyway, let's talk about Charleston a little bit and our overall experience. Obviously, for those of you, a lot of people have already listened by the numbers that we're doing. We're recording this on Friday, so we're only truly 2 days in, 48 hours.
Yeah.
And that episode's doing numbers. So thank you everybody that's tuning into that and check that out. But so that was a little taste of the people that are involved in the Charleston scene. And now let's talk about kind of what we experienced down there and, our takeaways from it.
Yeah. So after the podcast finished, prior to that podcast, we were just hanging out. It was Angelo's show. We were just there to support him and meet everybody and make some connections, do the podcast and just have fun, check out the city. So when Eric walked into the room and Soto was like, oh, they were just talking about the night because they were going to work together at night on Sunday. And they were like, you guys want to play on the patio? And we're like, yeah, actually we do. So it went from being just patrons to actually having a set and setting up our day to be like, oh, we're actually going to work tonight.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see that coming per se, especially at that venue.
Yeah.
At Trio, which was an incredible venue. Well, let's rewind before we get to Sunday. We went over there Saturday to their upstairs level, and it was a real nightclub. You were back. It was back.
Yeah, I mean, we were gushing about it on the last podcast. I think we talked about it, about our previous experience there, right?
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, because we recorded on Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! Yeah, you're right. Wow, I'm shot.
Yeah, I don't know where you were going rewinding to there.
Cream, it's been a long week, guys. I've been up since 4:30 this morning. So after the podcast, you're right. Yes. So they asked us to go play there, and then we walked in. We set up. It was this really dope. I don't know how would you describe it? Just a little dope veranda area, right in the back of the place, outdoor. Yep. Little stage set up. Bottle service areas to the left and right, and then a dance floor front and center, and then that led back to a back bar and then into the main nightclub. And it was like real. It was like real life DJing again. It was.
Yeah, I really didn't know what to expect because it was Sunday night. They close at 11. So I was really unsure of what the entire night. I had no expectations. I was like, hey, I'm going to just go play some good house music back here and see what happens.
And yet, right. And people filled in 8 o'clock, I guess it was. People started to pour in. I think that having that curfew for that night in particular, and for most Sunday parties, that's effective. I feel like a lot of owners overreach. And listen, why not? You have the staff there, stay open till 2. A couple dollars come in more between that 11 and 2 o'clock hour, and that's more power to you. That's great. But I think that for the parties, like effectiveness and like for the good of the party, like those shorter hours, you kind of squeeze a better party out of it than this long-winded thing.
Yeah, well, there was other stuff going on, so a lot of we had a lot of carryover from people that were just out and about on Sunday at other venues, and then they're like, "Oh, well, let's go finish our night at Trio." And they actually we played that set, and they literally were renovating this week because they have a lot of really big acts coming in to play that back patio, which I think is really cool. It's going to be a really intimate setting with like sick video walls, a lot of good sound and lighting, and like it's going to be a cool place to see an act because it was a cool place for us to play, and I'm sure the other artists that come in are going to say the same thing.
I mean, the picture that they sent us the next day. So to paint a little picture for the DJs out there, like our setup was 2 standard, like 15-inch monitors on tripods, right?
Yeah.
Then we got sent a picture of the shipment of speakers that was sent actually that Sunday afternoon that they were installing on Monday morning. It was like at 11 a.m. they sent this, or noon, whatever it might have been. And it was just like killer. There was like 6 speakers up ahead, up over the heads of the dance floor, like inside of the dance floor, just outside of the bottle service area. Like super sick. You could tell it's going to be way too loud, and there's going to be a couple noise complaints for sure.
What's cool about that venue is they have the flexibility to open up as many rooms or as few rooms as they want. So they have the outdoor patio, they have the downstairs area, which on Sunday night acted as the main room of the club, right?
Right.
And then upstairs is like the fully produced, sick video wall, sick lighting, sick sound.
Right.
That they save for the biggest acts, and then for, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, I guess.
So what I'm seeing with that place that's a little different from places that have versatility like that is the fact that they're using it the right way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They know, like, they're not trying to shoot for the stars on a Sunday night and opening all up the upstairs, which we've seen people do that in the past, and then it looks like 6 people hanging out in a huge space.
Yeah.
Right. And that'll kill your business fast.
Right. Just like any room that you're playing, and it gets halfway through the party and it's super slow, and a group of people walk in and they're like, well, fuck this. It's this giant room. There's not that many people.
Right.
I'm leaving.
Right. I think they know their market. They know their product. But like they said, that, that space has been there for a long time. And the people that work in that room and the owner, like they have a strong hold on what Charleston really is all about, and when it's going to be good, and when they need to take their shot, and when they don't.
I really wish we recorded the set because I've never really been there. I don't know what to play. I just went in and played music as I wanted to play music, and didn't really play the room as not open format at all. I played, tech and bass house and my electro style that I like to play. And people were vibing to that and like really rocking out on the dance floor. So it felt really, really good because I played a few secret parties that had dance floors and stuff, but like this was the first time of being in a club and playing in a club and having a dance floor reacting to music. And it just really reminded me why I love DJing and why I love what I do. That's the reason. I love music, but I love it way more as a DJ when I can play to a crowd, feel their energy, send them my energy, and adjust based accordingly. And like without that, it's just not that fun to me.
Yeah, I have a couple different. So full disclosure, guys, my computer is having issues with connection. So I DJ'd off of Cream's computer, which is always challenging. I've DJ'd off your computer a couple times.
Right, but it's still really hard.
It's difficult. Like you kind of have to know what you want to play, because I don't know if you're gonna have that remix, or I don't know where that is. And I would look for a song that often on my computer, where I'm like, I only have 3 of those remixes, and I forgot that you have 17 of them. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I put in I don't know, whatever, pick a song. It's like, okay, I have 3 remixes of it where you have a ton. So I was like looking for tracks and I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna run out of time. Just like pick pick one of
Yeah.
them, you know. But so I felt like I was at one point I said something to you like, oh, like switch the vibe here. Like I felt like I was like directing traffic at one point and then like
Yeah.
trying to do it also when I went on. And then like there were some tracks that I was playing. You're like, dude, this is dope. Like, where did you find this on my computer? I'm like, dude, it looked like I knew that. I thought I knew this song and whatever. I threw it up. But I played a lot of Cream and Gary W tracks, just knowing that that works.
Yeah, and like it was good. It worked out definitely. They were feeling it. You know,
It
they
was
wouldn't have known the difference of who was DJing.
right. It was a good yin and yang, if you will, because like you did tech and bass house, and that was like earlier to peak. And then when everybody had definitely had a few, I went on and did like the vocal stuff so the girls could sing along too.
Yeah.
And it was a really nice balance. It
Yeah.
was honestly probably the best balanced Cream and Gary W set there ever was.
Well, there haven't been that many, but yes, I agree with you.
They've always been not good.
The last time we played together, it was weird.
It's always weird. Our styles just they contrast so drastically.
Yeah.
So like when I'm on my computer, it gets way different.
Yeah.
But there was just a nice like I knew when it was time to go that other route, right?
Yeah, we reached the point. You're like, dude, if I were you, I would hit some of those. Hit some of those Cream like future house stuff. I'm like, you know what? You're right. Like, we got to get a little more mainstream at this point.
I just have a good eye for when people are just starting to feel themselves a little, you know, a lot, and then they want to just sing, you know. But that's part of our job, man. That's what we got to do, and that's what you guys are missing up in Jersey. The fact that it's very difficult to see, okay, this is when I need to change the vibe because everybody's sitting down.
Right.
You know, we were really DJing last Sunday, and I was up by you guys in October, and you're not really DJing. Like, you're playing music, you're setting a vibe, but you're not feeling a crowd out to the point where, okay, I'm going to switch the mood in the room.
Right. You're not getting those moments. Like there's no moments whatsoever.
Right.
Occasionally you'll get like a drunk group of people that like rock out for a little while and then they get yelled at and then it's over. And it's like, oh man, like back to vibe dining. Like, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you and I, and you definitely more than me, because you've been out there DJing weekly. It's really easy to get discouraged when you're out there and you don't know how to react to a crowd that's just sitting down and eating or drinking and getting yelled at for vibing too much.
Yeah, like for so long we were just dying to just get our jobs back in any way. And it's almost like now that New Jersey and we've been playing some sets where you're kind of just, you know, you're doing the vibe dining thing. People are getting yelled at for standing up. Like, it's just kind of, I personally have reached the point where like, it's not fun really very often. There's occasional sets that are a good time. And usually those are the places that are a little more lenient on the rules. Like,
right.
But so, like the places we play that are super strict, it's like, man, this is like, I'm thankful that I'm working and like doing my job and being up here. But at the same time, this is not why I got into doing this. Like, this sucks at the same time.
Yeah. All right. So might be a stupid question, but I got to throw it out there anyway. So do you feel like going and playing in an open room with a dance floor, like hurts your mood about going back to DJing? I don't know, like how to word it. Like, or would you rather be blind to it and just like keep going into your sets being like, well, I wish I didn't know that this existed somewhere else in
No, I'm happy that it exists, and I'm happy that I've experienced it because it gives me hope that we are going to get there soon too.
Okay.
Like, yes, leading into my gigs this weekend, am I like super pumped to go play for 4 or 5 hours tonight and like have no dance floor? Like, no, I'm not. But
yeah,
you know, I think it does give hope that we'll have a dance floor again at some point soon, I hope.
I think it's coming soon. I don't know why. It's just a gut feeling. It's not any information that we have, but I think And by soon, I mean like summertime. I think you'll be able to stand up and dance by summer. I know DJs
We'll
hope so.
see. I think a lot of all the summer venues obviously hope so, but yeah,
At least
man.
outdoor, you know? I mean, gosh.
Yeah. This doing a set like that definitely puts all those like thoughts of like, do I really want to keep doing this? Can I put up with vibe dining for the next 7 months, 8 months to a year? Like those thoughts have crossed my mind. I think they've crossed everyone's mind. Like, do I have to go get another job? Is this what I want to keep doing? Like, I think that's human nature. No.
Absolutely, and especially if you are, and I hate to always harp on this, but like if you have been in the game for a long time, and it's like, well, you know, when am I going to be too old to DJ? We all think about that, you know. If you've been in the game 15 years, 20 years, and now it's like you're approaching whatever age, and you're like, well, you know,
Yeah.
maybe it's time to hang up the headphones. But like, and then like this pandemic definitely made people think about that more. I mean, there are definitely plenty of DJs that I don't see DJing anymore.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll come back when there's a dance floor, but other DJs have now positioned themselves in a way that.
Well, we've been saying that all those like those guys that are kind of on the come up, this is the perfect opportunity for them because they don't mind going to work for opportunity at a lower price. But like the guys that like, all right, I'm doing Harris once a month, and we're doing, you know, Birch every week, and we're doing like I've gotten to a point where I can pick and choose the rooms that I want to play, and all the rooms I play are fun and have a dance floor and are clubs and have like party rock. So once you get to that point, it's really, really hard to come back down to vibe dining. Like it's just hard, you know? We've spent a lot of years and time and effort and practice getting to a certain point, and now this thing took that away from us, you know, out of our control. But I don't know. It's just it's harder for people that are on the higher end, I'd say.
Yeah. Like vibe dining when we were full on would be fine once a week as like a chill set, you know? Like
as like a sixth daytime set of the week that like sure, I'll go make my money like 3-4 hours in an afternoon.
Right. It was fine for that, for sure. But to do it every night, like for peak hour on a Saturday, that just it hurts your heart. It's tough. But all right, so let's pivot here a little bit, because we came back from Charleston on Monday. Everybody was traveling and whatnot, and there's just we went there for content. We got a lot of it, and then it's like, shit. Now we have to produce this content and put it out, you know, and it doesn't leave a lot of room, especially for you who's like producing this show and who's like doing some like photo editing, things like that. It doesn't leave a lot of room for other things, right? So do you want to talk about like how you handle being bogged down with content? Are you handling it? Like, is there, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely really tough. I don't know. We do a lot. Get Down DJ Group does a lot. Get Down University, and then my personal brand, like we put out stuff every day, literally. And that stuff needs to be created and strategized and scheduled. And it just takes time, you know? And we flew back on Monday, so we kind of lost, I was tired. I took a nap when I got back. So like we lost most of Monday. And then it was a mad dash to like get the podcast out for Wednesday and try to get everything out that we would normally do throughout the week. And it is frustrating sometimes because, like I said to you before we started recording, I haven't opened Ableton to make music one time this week. And that, like my goal, literally in my goal sheet, is to open Ableton every day for at least 1 hour to work on production, whether that's edits or original music.
Yeah.
And for me to get to Friday at 4 p.m. and have not opened Ableton one time for music, it sucks. I haven't downloaded music. I haven't organized music, and I have 4 gigs this weekend. Like,
so I'm going to play devil's advocate here though, right? Because you are going to have these moments where there's going to be a lull in something. Like something has to take a hit. So like we went to South Carolina to get content. So we have content for, you know, the near future and beyond.
And for the networking purposes, because we created some really, really strong relationships. And like that trip was
1,000%.
amazing.
1,000%. And that's all worth it to me from an outsider's perspective. That's all worth it in the end. To like, okay, I had to take a hit here for a week because we had to do all this very important stuff. You know, so you have to kind of prioritize, you know, what needs to get done in a certain timeline because like you have to plan a trip, right? And then you have to travel, and then you have to batch that content and produce it and then put it out or put it on the back burner, whatever it might be. So when you look back, you have to kind of look at it that way. Like, not like that you failed this week, but that, you know, there were other things that were top priority.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a failure, because we got a lot of shit done and we put out a lot of stuff. But, you know, to peel the curtain back a little bit on what we do behind the scenes, like, you know, we had a team that was doing a lot of the graphic design for us and video editing and a lot of stuff that when we lost all of our gigs and all the bookings that we were doing, you know, we had to cut back in a lot of areas. And that was the first area, right? Like, so now we kind of have to do all that stuff, not only strategize it and come up with the plan, but then also execute, which is very difficult and very time consuming. But I think what's nice is that as we start to build back up, we know that we can go back to kind of having a team in place that can do that stuff. So long term, like, we'll be all right. But
what advice would you give to guys that are struggling with this? Because guys that are, listen, we're lucky to have a quote unquote team behind, or had a team behind some of our content creation. But some guys and a lot of guys that we talk to have 9-to-5s. And like we always say, you got to be a DJ, you got to be a graphic designer, you got to be a social media presence, you know, a podcast host, whatever it might be. So what advice do you give guys that like do have that 9-to-5 and they really you need to get the stuff out at this point? You cannot survive in our industry without getting the stuff out. And it doesn't need to be every day, right? Would you agree with that? I know Gary Vee would say that's wrong, but you know, 3 times a week, probably.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what you're doing. You know, I think just
that's what I'm saying. So what advice would you give like guys that are trying to get stuff out and they have this huge you know, this huge burden on them, whether it be
right. So like where we're struggling with, you know, we have Get Down University and Get Down DJ Group and DJ Cream or DJ Gary W. Someone else might be struggling with, well, I have a 9-to-5 and then I have my other business, right?
Right.
So I think the biggest thing is something that we talked about early in the year, and that is, you know, having goals in place and understanding what are the big things, what are the most important things that need to get done, and kind of prioritizing your time around those things. And listen, things pop up and things change. Like for us, like this week was a little different, you know, this week was almost like a catch-up week. And yes,
it wasn't super planned either.
Right.
It wasn't like we were 2 months out knowing that we were going there. So sorry to interrupt.
And yes, we can be frustrated, but still understand that, like, all right, we took a week off from like these bigger goals that we're normally working towards just to get the smaller stuff done this week. Right. But we got a lot of shit done. And like, you could still be proud of the stuff that you did get done and just have a plan for next week so that on Monday morning, when you wake up, I know exactly what I'm doing. And I think having that plan for me, when we have a plan in place, we have the next 2 weeks lined up, things are easy for me because I can wake up and know what I'm doing and not have to sit there and be like, well, what the hell should I work on first?
Do you feel like on weeks that you know, might have missed, let's talk about Ableton, right? So you missed Ableton this week. Does it drive you to go harder next week for that? Like, does it give you more passion to throw at Ableton next week? Is it like I always feel like if I miss something, I'm like rejuvenated to jump back in it tenfold.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think like that'll be a priority Monday, right? After I go through my morning routine and my workout, like the first thing I do when I sit at my computer is going to be spend an hour in Ableton and like shut everyone else out. And then, all right, once that's done, maybe I pump out an edit real quick. Then, you know, phone comes back on and I can go about putting out GDU bites and putting out whatever else we need to get done, editing the podcast and whatever else we do every week.
like it's not on purpose, but sometimes it's a real like a great way to just like it refocuses you on, something that was kind of pushed to the side. So I find that it work, it not that it works for me. I'm not doing it on purpose, but I definitely get motivated behind those things when I'm missing stuff.
Yeah,
Which
and
means I'm probably missing way too many things.
I think the other thing that is somewhat like stressful, and I use the quote unquote or quotation marks with my hands,
Right.
but like feeling the need to like constantly be posting on Instagram or constantly be posting on TikTok or whatever your platform of choice is. And I kind of look at it like there's only so long that you can go like super hard on those platforms before you just have to take a little mental break, and that's okay. And like your engagement's going to go down. You're going to get less likes when you do go back to the platform. But just like anything else, like after a week of getting back on the grind, all that stuff will come back. So
Yeah.
I think it's just something not to stress about. And, the stuff you're working on is going to come in waves. You can't do everything in a week,
Yeah, you can't. And whether you know it or not, people can tell when like you're just doing stuff to do it, especially like on social media,
Yeah.
because the value of it just goes down, right? Like the quality of it goes down.
Yeah.
Like if you're not 100% behind it, then that's when you need to take a step back, like you said, and take a couple days off and get rejuvenated to jump back in and be all in about it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just a lot, and it can be overwhelming. And I've definitely been feeling a little overwhelmed this week with all the shit. And that's why we wanted to talk about it a little bit today, because, I'm sure you guys go through it too.
And this is me talking cream off the ledge, but we haven't talked all week, so I got to do it live on the podcast.
Yeah, that's true. Usually I'll harass you like, Gary, we got to fucking talk. Like, what are we doing? We got to work on our stuff. And like, I was just so busy that I didn't even think about it this week.
Right. I didn't get to ground you on Wednesday or Thursday. Like, like, okay, it's gonna be fine. This is why it's okay.
Yeah.
So good stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. Do we want to stop here? Do we want to dig into something else?
I don't really have anything top of mind right now.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else either. After all that talk of like so much stuff going on and being nonstop and content, like I'm trying to lay on the couch for an hour before I have to get up and get prepped for work tonight.
I don't blame you, man.
Or a couple hours.
I've been up since 4:30. I've been rocking all day. So,
all right. So this is a quick hitter. We weren't really sure where this was going to go, but good episode.
But it was important to, do a little Sunday recap on Charleston. We had such a good time. So many good people down there. Obviously, if you're following anything on social media, you could see how much love we had for the people that we met down there and the hospitality that they showed us and how great we felt about Trio, the DJ aspect of it, and just how well it's run. And, hopefully anybody that's having content issues or feeling bogged down, like hopefully you guys, could take something away from this.
Yeah. And the door is always open, man. If you guys have something going on and you want to talk about creating a content plan or something like that, like I'll make some time. Definitely. Gary will make some time. If you have questions, cause it's a lot, dude. It's a lot. It stresses me out. And like, this is something that I kind of like and kind of care about. So
yeah. All right, guys.
All right, guys. Thanks for checking out this episode 36 of The Get Down. My name is Cream.
Gary W.
See you next week.
Peace.
Peace.